King Charles bursts into laughter as he jokes that a young child at the Gladiator II premiere is not allowed to watch the gory film. On the eve of his 76th birthday, King Charles brought a touch of royal charm and humour to the star-studded world premiere of Gladiator.
became a fundamental part of shaping and molding the way women think moving forward, which has had a load of knock-on effects. As with anything sort of rooted in communism, it's about leveling the playing field and fixating on equality and equity, which I think, when we take into consideration, isn't real life. It's a nice concept, and it's certainly lovely, fluffy stuff for when you're at school, but I think in the real world, there's a reality that it doesn't play to people's strengths, and it doesn't matter whether it's feminism, financial things, politics. We see the knock-on effect of saying, okay, everybody's equal, go ahead and do what you want, but actually, foundationally, we're not. So I think that's something that is really important, and I think that pop culture, I think somebody mentioned, might have been Ian earlier, said that it's been a huge part of that. I would agree. And I think also university education. So as she mentioned, I did waste my time with that, to be honest. And one of the things I found was I took the module of feminism kind of blindly and went into it and was really shocked at what they were pushing. Even things like teachers saying things like, oh, everybody's born bisexual, but you're trained to be straight or gay. And I was sitting there like, definitely not. Like, you're definitely champ your shit there. So oh my God, it hit me. Jesus Christ, we're back. We are so back, guys. And I know for a Hispanic to be saying this, because I don't know why people won't even dare say, but it is so refreshing, so wonderful that the people chose children. It's going to be glorious. And for that, thank you, Jesus. So there, thank you for letting me speak. Good morning, everybody.
Julie, you up? You got something? Good morning.
Good morning, everybody. Yeah, it is a great day to be alive. Thank you, Jesus. And California's going to be turning around, I'm sure of it. So definitely, no move is being made without the what if scenario. Like, what if we put this person into this job, who backfills them? So for Rubio, I heard that Lara Trump
whether
might
on
get
Clubhouse or
considered,
your
which
hair,
would be
it's
very
the same
awesome.
people.
Apparently she's open to it. And, these recess appointments, I think, are going to be huge. I think that's why we're not hearing anything about Kennedy. So there's no way that if they were, in session, nobody's going to want to have that man leading the charge. So I think they're going to have to do that one on recess. I think Matt Gaetz is amazing. He's a freaking pit bull, and I love it. Bring it on. Fauci's going down. Every member of Operation Warp Speed better be freaking running for the hills. I'm here for it. It's amazing. So, yeah, that's all I wanted to say. It is a great day to be alive. You can definitely feel us skip in our step. Oh, did you guys see the picture of Joe Biden next to Trump yesterday? It was like, now all of a sudden Joe Biden is 6'3". I'm sorry, but I think that's definitely not the original person. And I think at the beginning of his term, it was the old fuddy-duddy, horrible criminal Joe Biden.
She makes
making everybody,
$100,000
the military get shots and all this. But now, I think it's a different person, and I think it's somebody on our side. But if they're 6'3", there's no way that man was the same height as Trump. It's all over Twitter. It's amazing. Go look for it. Thanks.
Wow, I think that Apollona kind of hit the nail on the head. I think that, since I've been coming in and doing spaces, she was one of the first people that I spoke to, and Moreland as well. One thing I've determined from that point that I spoke to these people for the very first time is not once have they changed their position. And so what I discern from that is they're people that care. They tell the truth. And sometimes they hurt feelings, but that's okay, because people's feelings need to be hurt if you're telling the truth. And that's the way that I look at it. DeLuca, you up?
Thank you. Central casting, Julie. I just wanted to refer back to what you were saying, Marlon, and Bitcoin. And if there's something behind it, first of all, 99% of the population of the world doesn't even understand it. It's a method of exchange, not using banks, blah, blah, blah. And I'm wondering if Trump will ultimately maintain the status of the dollar. I believe he wants that. And I don't believe he's fully invested in this idea of CBDC digital currency. And that's why Bitcoin and the others started thriving. And I don't want to get into this conversation unless you want to, Marlon, but the nefarious purposes behind Bitcoin. I wanted you to elaborate on that a little bit, if you could. And I'm just curious about how, because a lot of people, I'm looking at it too. I'm just curious as to if you want to elaborate on that, because I'm still not sure how the majority of the world is going to understand and get involved in it, because you still need an exchange, and these exchanges are not that secure at all, and they're trying to get away from banks, and banks, most people trust banks at this point. So I'm just curious as to if you want to elaborate. Hope that makes sense.
Apple, did you want to respond? Go ahead.
Well, I wanted to add real quick. I read an article about a month and a half. Specifically, they went to El Salvador because it's the only country, as far as I know, that is going crypto, digital money, right? But the guy found that in the real world, hotels, restaurants, they don't take it. People do not want it. And they would look at him weird when he tried to pay with crypto, because that was his thing. Is it really working? Is this crypto really moving a nation? And he found out that nope, because they looked at him weird and they asked for the good old cash. So just wanted to throw that in there. I keep my eye on everything. But Kelly is one of the eyes I'm keeping my eye, and I still have a question mark. It's so much better, but I wish he would take all the M13s and house them instead of spreading them around the world, which he did. He gave them safe passage. I read also an article from one of the persons that actually got the leaders of the gang and gave them safe passage because he made a deal with the president. So I'm happy for the good in the world, but I'd like to know exactly how the trinkets work. So just wanted to say there about crypto, not trusting it.
I was in a space earlier this morning, and I'll go right to you, Carol, and then we'll go to Tim. I was in a space this morning that, hey, some of these spaces were the very first spaces I ever went into, Web3, crypto, and I learned a lot. If you guys get an opportunity, just go in and listen sometimes, because, hey, they can teach you a lot about, hey, what Web3 is, what the difference between Bitcoin and ETH and Light, all the different, the Doge is coming on. I have some Doge in the background. Actually, my wife has Doge in the background. But, if you educate yourselves just a little bit on how these communities work, you can find out the commonalities, and they want to talk about it. So we are going to be doing some spaces where some crypto people are going to come in and help us kind of maybe map out the future and see what they think. Because, hey, these are the people that are really watching it. Okay, Carol, I'll put in my 2 cents on this for DeLuca. I've been listening to Grant and Gary Cardone and Simon Dixon in particular. What I gather is they want a decentralized currency through cryptocurrency and Bitcoin, primarily to decentralize world currency. So that the problem, DeLuca, is that we want securities to back a currency, whether it be gold, whether it be commodities, whether it be petrol, etc. I believe their idea is to use energy power to use as a security, and I don't want to say it's a Ponzi scheme, but that's typically how the Reserve Bank tends to operate. And with the Reserve Bank, the contention is that they can open and spend money irregardless whether the citizens agree or disagree. And that's primarily the contention and point that the cryptocurrency guys have. And the second point I would assume would be to make sure that if our economy goes down or their economy goes down, that if we're there or here, the money doesn't fluctuate with the nation's or a country's financial health per se. So that's my take on it. I kind of am a bit, like Edward Jones. I kind of think that, well, we can't back it because there's nothing to back it with, and that's their stance. That's my take.
They're trying to interfuse both of them there, and I don't really like that. Carol, and then we'll go to Tin and Jane.
Yeah, I'm an investor and I'm well diversified. Anytime you invest, you can't go all in. And there are some people who are like all in on Bitcoin. That's kind of a dangerous game because it doesn't work. The problem with gold and silver, to back the dollar, that's a good thing, but you can't carry around gold or silver. It's very heavy, and to pay with that. So the method of exchange has to be something different, and that's why Bitcoin, I think, came into prominence because you're away from the banks, you're away, and it's a kind of a private, you hold your own money, you hold your own value, if you will. But I think overall, it's going to be difficult. I found, too, that a lot of, somebody's speaker is on. Dave, next up. I can't hear myself. Okay.
I think I got it.
Yeah, thank you. I'll be brief. I'm noticing a lot of vendors, restaurants, whatever, will take cash now, and you have to pay 3 to 5% if you use a credit card. That's a refreshing thing. It's moving people away from building too much debt on their credit cards, and it saves them money because they're being charged to use that. So the acceptance of cash is very good at this point. But overall, I think we're going to see a flushing out of this. Whether Trump is for it or against it, we will see. But a lot of the tech guys heavily backed him this time. So this has to be ferreted out. It really does. And we'll see. Thanks.
That's exactly why the kids like it. It removes the banks and the high usury rates that banks and credit card companies employ against the consumer.
Okay, Tin.
Hello. Hope everyone's doing pretty good this morning. I tried something on the pill. I watched it late last night. I'm becoming a very weird night owl lately because I'm falling asleep during the evening and staying up in the middle of the night. Alex Jones and Judge Joe Brown had a really interesting interview about the current events going on and why it might be so quiet with the deep state, with all the stuff that's been happening. I highly, highly, highly recommend watching it because when Judge Joe Brown talked, he connected so many things that James, Predator, Texas Red, and many others in here, that what all you guys have been saying, and kind of brought it all together in one thing. And so many things were clicking last night. I also was getting real giddy because things are starting to make sense of why things are going the direction they are now. So please check that out. And on the whole cryptocurrency thing, I can't tell you much about cryptocurrency, but lately in my life in IT world, I can give you some good details on how to set up those credit card machines and how to connect them to a point of sale system. And I try to learn all the things that I learn and kind of takes the magic out of it. So there's that. And I hope everyone has a good day.
Hey, what's up? I just got called up. You talking about paying credit cards or applying for credit card?
Yeah, you know what? Hold on 1 second. Did James leave?
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah, it looks like we lost it, darn it.
Okay, Daffy, and then.
Oh, I was hoping to come up because I wanted to see if you watched that video or that thing I put in. Nobody's talked about it. Trump is going and Speaker Johnson have a secret, and their secret, if you read this, it's awesome. They're going to recess, and when they recess, Trump's going to, because of some amendment, he can do it. He's going to excuse all parties and insert a whole new parties. You guys got to read this. I'm really hoping somebody will talk about it. All right, sorry to interrupt.
No, I'd like to hear. Did you post this to the top?
It's in the bean.
It's in the bean. Okay, I'm gonna check it out.
Talking to Kathy now, are you talking about, possibly the entire J6 crowd? I mean, I think that's what the Americans look for.
No, I think he's going to recess. If I'm reading it right, that's why I'm asking other people because I can't comprehend it all. But what I'm thinking is he's going to recess both parts of Congress and the House, and while they're recessed, he's going to replace them all. I'm just really shocked by all this. I'm excited.
I like
Absolutely every.
I didn't get a chance to read that yet.
Yeah, I kind of perused through it, and there's a lot of words, so it's going to take me half the day to read it. But when I finish, I'm going to have a good take. I'm going to slam it on everybody. Everybody's going to laugh.
Well, to be honest, I read it last night, so that's why I'm excited.
Hey, maybe we can turn to Scotty. Scotty, how you doing this morning? Good to see you.
Hey, Marlon, can you hear me? Copy that?
Yeah, man, got you good.
How you doing, brother? How you doing, James? How you doing? Jeff Stone. Is it Jeff Stone? Is that who I see co-hosting?
That's Jeff Stoser, my man, Jeff Stoser. Good morning, Scotty. How are you doing, sir?
I'm doing great. Good to see you and Daffy as well. James, hope your wife is on the right track and you're in our prayers every day. So I stopped by in the middle of a edit of the radio show because I thought it was important to share
I don't blame her.
the information I have today. We all know the mainstream media is acting out of desperation now. If you've been listening, they're blaming the Trump win on everything but themselves and the radical left policies. They're blaming it on us, actually. They're blaming it on Spaces and all of the Patriot, Truth, or social media and network of podcasts, broadcasts, social media influencers. It's our fault.
I think that's harsh. I don't think it's blaming on everybody.
Well, that's what they're doing because
I think they're pointing their finger at one person.
Yeah, they're as always, they're fake news, they're radical, it's a storyline, it's a talking point, nothing more. So, on the show this past Thursday, I declared the mainstream media dead on arrival, and I revealed two new pieces of the puzzle that I wanted to share with you guys this morning. First, Trump Executive Order 13818, which calls for seizure of assets, is coming home to roost with the mainstream media. What is their most valuable asset? Their broadcast license, which they were awarded by the FCC to broadcast in the public interest. They did not. There are going to be military tribunals for many a media MSM owner and executive. I'm getting calls from guys in the media that I know for years. Oh, are they scrambling? And these are guys in upper level management that could, as innocent bystanders who made no real programming decisions, went along with them. So that's their complicity. Went along with them because they're in their 50s and 60s. And as my friend at a major TV network.
But Scotty, where are they going to stop, though? Are they going to go all the way back to 9/11?
Well, I'm just addressing the death of the mainstream media. They'll probably, I do believe everything will be exposed, but right now their most valuable asset is their broadcast license. Take that away because they didn't broadcast in the public interest. What's the impact? They no longer can broadcast. And I believe the sale of those networks or reorganization is going to be under the domain of the U.S. military, and the money that comes from any of the sale of those broadcast licenses, which are worth billions and billions of dollars, will inure to the benefit of we the people through the U.S. Treasury. So that's exciting. I never really understood how we could find a legal avenue to take the mainstream media down. It seemed like we just had to stop watching, which we have. Their ratings are in the toilet. Their revenues way down. They're surviving because of State Street, BlackRock, and the investment bankers that feed the meter. But equally important is the Brunson case. I believe the ruling is coming out any day. It has to be in favor of Lloyd Brunson. 1 + 1 = 2. Lloyd, when pressed face-to-face at dinner, smiled and winked, did say he had an NDA. Now he's saying he doesn't because I think he's been under a lot of pressure and he's been playing the game. But why would he say he has an NDA? And what would the purpose of an NDA be if the case was sitting unannounced in the negative ruling against Brunson? Doesn't make any sense. And his smile and his wink, to me, said he already knows the outcome. So what does that have to do with the mainstream media? Well, the Brunson case removes 385.
Wink, wink.
Yeah.
That's what that's.
Exactly. 385 Congress people. 385, that's 70%. We've talked about often how we need to get rid of at least 80% of it. This is how it's going to very likely happen. If I could bet on this line in Vegas, I would. The Brunson case takes these people down, including Biden, Harris, and Pence. Well, what does that mean to the mainstream media? Well, they are their kissing cousins. They've protected one another. The mainstream media's carried the water for their kissing cousins in Congress and D.C. and vice versa. They've never, ever really thoroughly reviewed the FCC guidelines. They've never put any media outlet under the scrutiny of their serving the public interest. So they've been taking care of each other, scratching each other's back. So this event, the Brunson favorable ruling, basically is the nail in the coffin because there'll be nobody to protect the mainstream media, nobody to stop the seizure of their broadcast license, and away we go. We are the mainstream media now. Spaces like this, social media influence, everybody on this Spaces is part of the new mainstream media because you share things. There are anons here, but even if you only share with one person at a time, you're part of spreading the word of the mainstream media. We are the mainstream media now. We've got more eyeballs and ears than mainstream, far more eyeballs and ears. I could take 5 podcasters, big ones that I know, and they get more views and listens tonight than CNN does. So, great time to be alive. Let's watch and see what happens. The old cue, we're watching a movie. Get your popcorn. I don't think it's cliche now. I think it's really happening. So, my 2 cents, keep the change. And thanks for, Marlon, always providing an outlet to share information.
Well, Scotty, thanks for coming up, dude. And hey, good to hear your voice. And really, just hey, keep pumping those articles at us because some of the people, they aren't watching it very closely. So hey, if some guys are able to come in here and put a little cap on it and have people digest it, it's a good move. So
yeah,
thanks.
And Marlon, the conspiracy theory labelist that has been following me around since 2020 when I started Sovereign Radio by declaring and praying against human trafficking, pedophilia, and satanic rituals, which the management of the radio network I'm on thought I was absolutely absurd and out of my mind. They now know better. The Diddy Party became a pity party.
What's the problem with the satanic rituals?
Let Scotty finish, Steve. I'll go right to you.
All right.
The Diddy Party became a pity party last Tuesday, and it's going to expose a lot of people. Diddy and Epstein are connected. It's all coming out. But at the end of the day, the Brunson victory is no longer a far-fetched idea. In fact, somebody could take the counter argument. I'm all ears. I've had this discussion with many people. Why not just announce the verdict if it's not in favor of Lloyd Brunson? What are they waiting for? And I believe it's part of the White Hat plan to play that card when appropriate, ejecting 385 Congress people, Pence, Harris, and Biden for a lifetime. They can't serve for a lifetime. So it's an exciting time to be alive, that's for sure.
Well, thank you, Scotty. Something you want to add in, and then we can go to Kate.
Oh yeah, I was gonna say, what's the problem with satanic rituals? I think satanic rituals are kind of BS. Teenagers just playing with fire. And I don't know, it's just a different world is where people dress in black and hang out together. It's kind of a social club, like a Methodist church almost. If you
Marlon, can I respond?
Back in late May.
Yeah. Well, I agree with you. It's a club, and we ain't in it, as George Carlin said.
You don't
But
need it.
as to the dirty deeds and the extent of how far they go, I've got firsthand witnesses that have either witnessed or been a part of satanic rituals. I've seen adrenochrome with my own eyes. Victor Avila, former special agent for U.S. Borders and Customs, served years at many missions over the border, infiltrating and subverting the cartels, and he witnessed it firsthand. He choked up and started to cry on radio when he talked about it. So they're real.
Are you taking long hits while you're talking? Somebody take a long hit.
So this is all going down.
No, I don't do bongs.
Okay.
Mike spoke a little joint once in a while, but no bongs. No, I don't know what you're hearing, but sorry if there's background noise. I'm in a radio studio, and there may be some editing going on. So, yeah, they're real. It's not a conspiracy theory. They're ugly. They're the cruelest crimes on earth, and it's not okay anymore. We know about them. The masses know about this shit, this wicked, satanic bullshit, and we've got to stop it now. If we don't take care of our kids, what kind of society are we going to live in?
It's on the move. It's on the move. Hey, we see organizations that are, crushing these child trafficking.
Yes, sir.
Kids. I mean, look, we're watching what's going on in the border. A lot of people are already self-deporting. We heard the caravan turning around. Their plan's getting crushed, man. So we're watching it happen. He's not even president yet, and they're scared to death. I mean, look at what's going on in the Middle East. I mean, that's cooling out. They're talking about ceasefires and everything else. Ukraine the same way. So peace by strength, my man.
Hey, Marlon,
That's exactly right, Marlon. The Scotty brought up the most important point, that when we're young as kids, we learn not to cheat, lie, and steal. And now the politicians with that are coming in with these cases, all of this stuff is coming to a big head. And it's for that very fact of the matter that they cheated the citizens, lied to us, and have taken advantage of us. It's coming to a head. But I feel very optimistic. I feel very calm, and I know that these people know they have to look at themselves every day, Scotty. And I think that, when I was a kid, I've stolen a few things, but I'll never forget when I was older, they stole something from me. And it was precious. It was nothing, but to me, it was precious. And from that point on, I learned that this is how it feels. And I think these politicians need to feel that here pretty quick.
I think they are.
Well said. Marlon, the other conspiracy theory that we've talked about for a long time, and it was in the Q Post, are the military tribunals. People think it's bullshit. They're never going to happen. I believe we'll see televised military tribunals and perp walks Because if they don't do that, how do you send the message to America that this is not going to be tolerated any longer? If they do everything quietly and put everybody away that's guilty of crimes against humanity and treason without any public fanfare, a military tribunal or two televised at Perp Walk. And I believe they're saving Obama for that, by the way, because he's probably the biggest name globally that they could do that to. But it's all speculation at this point. But through discernment, my military sources at Homeland Security that keep talking about these tribunals, that they're underway and they're offshore on naval ships and on and on and on. So I'm either being fed a lot of bullshit and they're not real, or they are real and a lot of people going away. And remember, there are 500,000 sealed indictments federally. Pacer.gov, you can see them all by state, and many of the sealed indictments have multiple defendants. So it's exciting, man. We're going to see the retribution. As Attorney Tom Renz said, he will go to his grave making sure people like Anthony Fauci and anybody who touched the jab and administered the bioweapon get their comeuppance and really get retribution. We get retribution.
You know, that's what we talked about in the beginning of the space was, hey, is he putting these people out there to spotlight them? Again, there's a lot of different theories. I don't know that I believe that we will see that on TV myself, but we'll see how this all plays out. Honestly, Scott,
we will for sure. And we don't have long to wait. When this is over, I don't mind if military tribunals, we never see them, then we'll never be able to prove them, and I can stand on that and know that my sources that gave me this information for years either were misled or the tribunals are not something we're supposed to see. But we'll see. Marlon, we're right upon all this happening quickly.
It is exciting time, Scotty, no doubt about that. Too much coming out. So, hey, let's go maybe crypto. How you doing? Welcome up, and then we'll go to you, Texas Schwinn.
Yeah, I guess I'm not as optimistic as everybody else here. I don't really spend as much time thinking about, what these guys are going to do. I'm hoping that they're going to do something that's going to fix the country. One, I don't see myself as a U.S. citizen, so I don't really have a horse. I figure I need to just take care of myself and not worry about what the United States is doing, but I don't have a lot of faith. I think a lot of people have really bought into this idea that Trump's going to fix everything. I almost think that's kind of by design, that it gets people to kind of lay off and say, well, this guy's going to take care of everything and not do the things they need to do themselves. Because to me, at the end of the day, he still took $100 million from Marianne Adelson. He's, said all kinds of things about unwavering support for Israel, anti-Semite laws. He's appointed Kristi Noem and all these other guys like, what's his name? Marco Rubio. I'm not into these guys. Sorry. Someone else would have to tell me. I think it's better if, we talk about solutions like people actually getting back into using private money and creating their own political bodies and state level. Make more sense.
You know what, crypto? That's exactly what we do in this space. That's what we've been saying for, and especially because I live in a blue state. I live in a blue state in New Jersey, right? And we all heard my governor stand up in front of their constituents. Say that again. We watched our governor look in front of our state and realize and say, hey, we're going to fight the Trump team no matter what way they turn. We're not going to give them an inch. That just discounted 47% of the constituents that he's standing up there talking about. We understand that if we don't take it back at a local level, and if you check us out, we're doing a county initiative in New Jersey. We have a governor race here in 25. It's probably the most important election for New Jersey since the 40s. Put it to you that way. If this state flips red, you know, you'll watch the other states fall. You'll watch New York fall. You'll watch Connecticut fall. You'll watch Maine fall. So, you know what? We have a great community that is boots on the ground, journalists, people that are involved in politics. So that's really the notion that we want to move forward.
Kill the nigger!
James, did you want to add in there and we got to touch spray?
Yeah, I just want to push back on everybody that says, I hear this narrative all the time, well, Trump's just a secret ploy, and he's the super madman behind the scenes, whisper. All I say is, please read thoroughly Executive Order 13818, the only president in the history of all presidents, to write an order specifically to end human trafficking. The only president. Now, there's optics. If you can't figure out optics and things, the games he's got to play, I can't help you. But Executive Order 13818 is the pinnacle end stop your discussions. You're not paying attention statement. And if you don't think anything happened with child traffickers, go to bad-boys.us and you'll see there's been 130,000 arrests since 2018 of child traffickers. But you wouldn't want to do that. You want to just be contrarian and walk around and, you know, speak accordingly because you see one piece of a whole operation and make a judgment on it. It doesn't work. It's a failure of logic. Because everyone else could say, well, what if he did? He's doing it on purpose, right? Sure he is. And why did Biden then secondary the EO? He could have let it expire, but he didn't. Why would he do that? You know, sorry, logic fails. So, and as to what you posted, Daffy, I read it, and it is definitely a 5D chess move, and it's under the Articles of the Constitution that he'll make that move possible. And he also, if you read into the commentary, he did a truth post talking about how the Senate must accept the recess, or must accept the recess appointments, and so it makes sense. As like lining up the ducks in the row. And even if they don't do it, but the threat of it's there, right? So you scare your enemy with I'm going to get it anyway. So we can do this the easy way or the hard way, right? And I believe that's why everyone's able to learn about this, because this is the big boogeyman, like the heavy stick that's sitting on their head. Like, either you do it and you keep some political capital, or that's fine, bonk bonk, and I still get it done. So yeah, that's what that was over.
There you go again, James, exhibiting common sense. Damn you.
Hey, this is OnlyFans. Put me in your queue, Marlon. Thanks.
Yeah, no problem. I'll let OnlyFans, you know what, I'm gonna go to Daffy, Texas Red, and then OnlyFans will go to you.
Well, James just threw a bubble at me. I had something really important to say, but you made my day by coming through with that. Thank you. I totally knew that you would have that. Thank you.
It was quite comfortable. Yeah, Texas Red, and then we'll go to you on.
Sorry, guys. Calling a loader operator. Hey, Jamesy, I've missed you, brother. Made me forget what I was going to say, to be honest. But, oh, yeah, this satanic cult don't exist. It's just a bunch of kids running around in black T-shirts. Whoever said that, I'm sorry, but I know firsthand, because I've seen the California satanic cult and the witches covenant over there. I was actually groomed from the time I was 14 till I escaped when I was 24. So I know they exist. I was in the mountains in California when I got to escape with my life, barely, with bullets flying past my head. So don't tell me that this evil out there does not exist. I've seen it. I have family that is actually part of it. This is how they bring you in. They recruit you, they watch you, and they kind of guide you a little bit in your adventure, which is kind of twisted and sick. But if you really think that this evil does not exist out there, you're a fool. because evil and the dark and the light has existed since the beginning of dawn of time here on this planet. And this evil has been trying to overpower this light for over 8,000 years that I can account for, and that has been manipulating mankind and draining your energy forces with all their BS. So it's time for everybody to realize what is going on, and you're going to have to pick a side. Are you on the good side? Are you on the bad side? Period. End of story. There is no more middle ground. There is no more middle fence. It is what it is, y'all. And everybody's going to get to see, because something big's coming, y'all. And everybody will get to see.
You know what, Texas? If you would have told me 10 years ago that this was really happening, I didn't imagine there was enough evil in the world, honestly. And by coming onto this app and hearing from people like April Sparks down there, and people, citizen journalists that are writing stories, watching the Take Back Our Border Summit really explode and make a difference. I could have never experienced that in the regular world without being on this app. So this app has educated me in the last 2 years like no other, and I think it's done a lot for sane people in this app. It's much more powerful, and I did not realize there was that much evil in the world. So maybe some people are going to start waking up. I think a lot of people are.
Well, I'm going to tell you, I actually thought I was crazy, and I imagined 10 years of my life. And people made me feel this way. But you know what? Enough's enough. I've got to talk to some people that actually made awesome documentaries about this stuff. Go watch Out of the Shadows. That was my life. That's what I was being groomed to be. People don't get it. It's just sick. But I'm not the crazy one. It's everybody that wants to deny this evil and not say nothing. Are the crazy ones. And it's our job to bring all this into the light and bring them with us. Where we go one, we go all, y'all. We're going to save everybody.
Amen. Hey, let's go to Only guy, man. How you doing? Good to see you.
Hey, good morning. I've been doing this online debate stuff for like 4 years now. I'm a power user on Clown House, aka Clubhouse, but X really is that gateway into the truth. Elon Musk sacrificed $40 billion so we could have this conversation, and you'll notice there's not an advertisement in the room. And if you do look at the advertisers, it's like generics, like Temu. I mean, Elon cannot get the advertising industry in this country to advertise on this platform because they are blacklisting him. They want to shut this app down. And thank God Trump won, because if Kamala won, you can guarantee this app would be out of the marketplace. It would not be on your Apple or your Android. You'd have to go and use your desktop or your cell phone and go to x.com to even use the app. So position and power definitely influence all the marketplaces. And the fact is, Trump and what he wants to accomplish in many ways is accomplished just because he won and we have this app. You'll see all the mainstream media deactivating their profiles on this app as a demonstration of protest and virtue signaling. So, we are entering into maybe a new golden age, but like you're saying, there is this ever-present subversive deep state threat, which really transits time itself. It goes from Kennedy's assassination to 9/11. 2 planes can't bring down 3 skyscrapers, all the way to COVID-19 and the vaccines. But don't talk about the vaccines because that would violate medical misinformation policies. So the point is, we are like cattle in this country, and the herd has voted for protection from itself. We're doing this to ourselves. There are bad actors in great positions of power that you don't even know who they are, that live and work in your government in the selective executive services, and they're not going away. And Trump will have to fire them. If Trump is smart, he will use his military effectively, especially at the border. That has to be, in my opinion, the number one priority first hour in office, deploy the military. Screw this pussy comitatus bullshit. I know the Constitution and you know the Constitution. And for the past 4 years, really for the past 30 years, your Constitution has been nothing but burned up and charred up, and it doesn't even exist in this country anymore. If everyone here can today go buy a pocket Constitution, because you're going to meet with a lot of mental health derangement, Trump derangement syndrome people over the next 4 years, when they want to get in your face and they want to communicate with you, just hand them a pocket Constitution and say, be well and God bless. Because there's a lot of people that want to screw with your psychology, that want to make you angry and want to ruin your life by making you angry. You have to live in love. You have to live in peace. Get a pocket-sized Constitution, and when somebody's having a mental health derangement syndrome, just pass them the Constitution and say, God bless. I am complete, and hashtag we are the people.
Well, you know what? It's funny. Only people don't even know their own state constitution. They don't even take the time to go read their own state constitution, right? I can recite off the top of my head the first 10 that come to my head. I think a lot of people need to do this and understand that that document is there to protect us. Our AGs in our states, they're political positions. They're not there to help you. So, we're going to have to take it on our own. Capturing our counties and having command of what our counties are doing and the bills that they're passing and the friends that they're giving the jobs to, right? This is what we don't want to see. We definitely don't want to see it in New Jersey. I don't need a radio host that's big in New Jersey to go into my governor's office and start learning day one. No, this is not the right guy to go in office. So, you know what? You're right. It's our fault for not taking it back and letting it go this far. That's even the worst part, right? That realistically we didn't pay attention enough, and we are not an educated voting base. So hopefully
You're right. The Democrats control the municipal governments. I live in Chicago. We have a communist clown terrorist that is running this city into the ground, which is going to defund the police and let the criminals take the streets. We are living with communist Democrat terrorists, and they control the local scenes. They're everywhere. They control your unions at the teachers union. The lawyers are controlling the whole thing. So make sure you have a pocket-sized Constitution to chuck in the eye as some communist Democrat lawyer that wants to shut you up and censor you.
Hey, Marlon, I seen Tate back down there with his hand up for a hot minute, sir.
All right, well, it sounds like he's busy. Go ahead, Tate.
No. So I just want to mention 2 points. Brunson case. If they rule on the oath, and that was criminal activity, I think that might be one of the solutions that they're looking for. But according to Lex Parliamentia, if it's an election issue, the elections have to be handled by the legislature and not the courts. So I have to reread Brunson to see what they were talking about. I remember it was the oaths. I don't know if they were talking about the election too. They may just issue a statement that you have to bring it back. We can't rule on the election fraud because there is no. It wasn't in their case. Not that it doesn't exist, but it wasn't an addendum to their case or an exhibit. So there's 2 options on that. And if you notice lately, Trump is talking more about the Constitution, and Elon Musk is talking about the Constitution. Marlon's right. You have to read your state's Constitution. A lot of the constitutions are Article 1 Bill of Rights, and in there it says the people have all the political power, and they have the right to reform the government anytime they see fit or require it. And the government is instituted for the happiness, safety, and protection of the people.
You're reprimanding now.
Uh-oh. I'm on target. So, you have to read the Constitution, and yes, carry your state's Constitution around with the federal Constitution and the Bill of Rights. I'll yield.
I think if everybody's okay, I think James would have something to go with that.